friends, it's Dr. Robin again, and today I want to talk about why we're updating Dr. Robin School and what it means for your kids, especially if you've been with us for a few years now. A lot of students have grown up with this program. They've been learning with us for 3 or even 4 years, and they're ready. They're ready for more challenge, more depth, and more opportunities to grow as learners. Not just memorize content, but really learn to think. That's exactly what this new program is about. Let me tell you something a little bit personal. I didn't learn how to study until I got to medical school. And let me tell you, that is the worst possible time to start. Growing up, I was one of those kids who just loved learning. I was a sponge. I read constantly, especially historical fiction. In fact, I read so much historical fiction that when I got to college history classes, they were easy because I had such a vivid picture in my mind of how it all fit together. And so all that stuff I had to learn new, just put it into the structure. When I was homesick in kindergarten, I was driving my mom absolutely crazy. So she taught me my times tables and how fractions work. We played with dice and fraction cards that she made by just cutting index cards in halves and quarters and eighths and sixteenths. So I was adding whole numbers and fractions and reducing fractions, and I thought it was the most magical thing that you could take these pieces and make something partial or whole. And then I asked, does this work with threes and nines? And she cut out circles for me to try, and it did work. I was so excited. But even with all that passion for learning, I didn't actually experience something completely new in school until 5th grade. We were studying different types of symmetry, and the teacher introduced us to rotational symmetry and fractals. I was infatuated. It was the most beautiful math I had ever seen. I rushed home, and my mom pulled out this book of M.C. Escher that she had on her shelf because she went to art school, and showed me how to draw them. Years later, when we learned how to draw fractals in geometry class, I was thrilled to be able to finally add more detail than I ever had been able to before. But here's the catch. I didn't really have to study, not in a meaningful way. I reviewed things, I memorized the specific terms the teachers liked best, but I wasn't challenged to really wrestle with information or build any sort of lasting study habits. I felt like I struggled in physics, but I loved calculus. I still remember my calculus teacher telling me, Robin, calculus and physics are basically the same thing. And I replied, no, they aren't, because calculus makes sense and physics doesn't. I hadn't had much interest in forces or electricity, so physics never clicked. But even then, I still got A's in physics without too much effort. College was even easier than high school in some ways. Less busy work, just show up, write papers, take tests. I did well on my medical college admissions test without even taking all the classes that you're supposed to take before you take the test, because I just forgot to look ahead and didn't do them in the right order, and I decided to do it anyways. I just took lots of practice tests. It was multiple choice. I didn't have to understand it deeply. I just needed to get the right answer, and I did. And then I got to medical school, and I crashed very badly because I didn't know how to actually study. Here, I'd always been top, and for the first semester, I barely passed. And it took me a while to recover from that. I didn't know how to struggle through something that I didn't immediately understand, and it was awful. My mom did the best she could with the resources she had. Everyone told me I was smart and hardworking, and I was smart, but the truth is I'd never really been challenged. I was definitely not hardworking. I was lazy. I didn't have to try that hard. I had time to help out at home, work my way through college, and still read for fun every day. But when I finally had to push myself academically, I had no tools for it. That is why this new program matters. By offering new lessons and new challenges, we're giving bright students the chance to actually stretch themselves, to learn how to study, how to think critically, and how to struggle productively. We're not just teaching facts. We're building foundations that will help your child thrive in adulthood, higher education, and yes, even med school someday. We'll be sharing more details soon, so keep an eye on your inbox. More is coming your way by email. And remember, it's not about getting everything right. It's about learning to ask better questions, dig deeper, and think more clearly. We are so excited to grow with your family. See you soon.